Teen mom, two kids over the years. Watching them grow up, a creative reflection. The cameras started rolling years ago, capturing messy living rooms, nervous first-time mothers, and tiny newborn cries that echoed through small apartments and uncertain futures. Back then, nobody knew just how much life would unfold in front of the audience, not just for the young moms, but for the children themselves. What began as stories about teenagers learning to be parents slowly turned into something deeper, a long, winding journey of growth, mistakes, second chances, and the ordinary magic of watching kids grow up. This is a creative, reflective story inspired by that journey. Not about gossip or headlines, but about time passing, childhood unfolding, and the quiet moments that show how quickly life changes. In the beginning, everything felt fragile. Cribs were assembled with shaky hands. Parents Googled things at 3 in the morning. Bottles warmed while exhaustion hung in the air like fog. The children were small enough to be held in one arm, wrapped in soft blankets, unaware that cameras and viewers followed their first moments. The moms, still figuring out who they were, learned how to become someone else too, someone responsible for another human being. There were sleepless nights and tears, but also laughter over first smiles. Those early years were full of moments that didn't make big headlines. A baby holding a finger tightly, a giggle during bath time, a toddler trying to say their first word. The kids didn't know they were part of anything unusual. They were just children. Time moves quietly. One day, babies turn into toddlers who run away giggling during diaper changes. They discover their voices, their favorite colors, and their opinions about bedtime. As the children grew, so did their individuality. One child loved adventure, always climbing, always curious. Another preferred quiet corners and storybooks. Some were loud, bold, and fearless, while others watched the world carefully before stepping forward. Viewers began to notice how different each child was. Even siblings raised in the same house could be total opposites. These differences shaped the families. Parents adjusted. They learned patience in new ways, realizing that parenting wasn't about one perfect rulebook. It was about listening, really listening, to what each child needed. There were tantrums in grocery stores and messy birthday parties where frosting ended up everywhere except the cake. But there were also moments of pure joy, tiny voices singing along to songs, proud smiles after learning something new, and little arms wrapping around parents at just the right moment. Then came backpacks. The first day of school is a milestone that sneaks up on everyone. Suddenly, the babies who once needed constant care were walking through classroom doors, turning back briefly for one last wave. Parents watched with mixed emotions, pride and sadness intertwined. School introduced new challenges. Homework battles, early mornings, friendships and misunderstandings. The kids began to build lives outside their families, learning independence one step at a time. Some children thrived immediately, eager to meet friends and share stories. Others needed reassurance, slowly finding their confidence. Every report card, every art project taped to the fridge, felt like evidence of growth. The moms, once teenagers themselves, sometimes seemed surprised at how quickly time moved. They remembered being young and scared, and now they were helping their kids navigate the same feelings. Big events get attention, but childhood is made of small moments. A rainy afternoon spent building pillow forts. The excitement of losing a tooth. Learning to ride a bike, wobbling forward while someone runs behind holding the seat, whispering, "You've got this." Family dinners where conversations jump between silly jokes and serious topics. The kids grew not only in height but in understanding. They asked deeper questions. They noticed emotions around them. They learned that adults weren't perfect and that life didn't always go according to plan. These quiet moments mattered most. They were the real story. As families expanded, sibling relationships became one of the most beautiful parts of the journey. At first, older siblings looked confused when a new baby arrived. Suddenly, attention was shared, routines changed, and tiny cries interrupted quiet moments. But slowly, bonds formed. Older children learned to be gentle, to help with bottles, to sing lullabies. Younger siblings followed them like shadows, copying words and gestures. There were fights too. Arguments over toys, playful teasing, dramatic declarations of "I'm never talking to you again" that lasted exactly 5 minutes. Yet beneath it all was loyalty. The kind that shows up during scary thunderstorms or long car rides, when someone falls asleep leaning against a sibling's shoulder. As the years passed, the kids became more aware of the world around them. They weren't just children in the background anymore. They were individuals with thoughts, humor, and opinions. Some became natural comedians, making everyone laugh at dinner. Some were thoughtful observers, wise beyond their years. Others discovered hobbies that brought them alive: sports, art, music, dancing, or simply exploring outdoors. Parents began to step back slightly, watching their children make choices and form identities. It was both beautiful and a little scary, because growing up means letting go, slowly, carefully, one moment at a time. Chapter 7: The Challenges of Growing Up. No childhood is perfect. There were difficult days too, moments of change, confusion, and emotional growth. As families experienced transitions, kids learned resilience. They learned that adults sometimes struggle. They learned that love doesn't always look the same every day. And most importantly, they learned how to adapt. Some children became protectors, offering hugs when someone was sad. Others learned to talk about their feelings openly. Some needed quiet spaces to process emotions. The journey wasn't always smooth, but that's what made the growth real. One of the most unexpected things about watching the kids grow up was realizing how ordinary their happiness often looked. Pizza nights, board games that ended in laughter and mild arguments, holiday mornings with sleepy smiles and wrapping paper everywhere, trips to parks, beaches, and backyard adventures. These moments might not seem dramatic, but they built the foundation of childhood memories, the memories that stick long after cameras stop rolling. Then came the tween years. Suddenly the kids weren't little anymore. They developed new interests, changed their styles, and began expressing independence in small but noticeable ways. Conversations shifted from cartoons to school drama, friendships, and big dreams. Parents had to adjust again. Rules changed. Boundaries were tested. Humor became sharper and eye rolls appeared more frequently. But behind the independence was still the same child, the one who once reached up for comfort after a bad dream. Growing up isn't a straight line. Sometimes it's 2 steps forward and 1 step back. And that's okay. The most beautiful part of watching the kids grow over the years is seeing them become themselves. Confidence starts to bloom in subtle ways. A child who was once shy volunteers to speak in class. Another who struggled with focus finds something they truly love and excels at it. Friendships become deeper, built on shared interests and trust. They begin to imagine futures for themselves, careers, passions, dreams. Parents listen, sometimes amazed at how mature their children sound. It's a reminder that time never stops moving. As the kids grow, the story shifts. The focus slowly moves away from the parents' struggles and toward the children's growth. The moms, once young and unsure, now watch from the sidelines, proud, protective, and sometimes emotional. They see pieces of themselves reflected back. A laugh that sounds familiar. A stubborn streak that makes them smile. A kindness they hope to pass on. Parenting changes with time. It becomes less about holding on and more about guiding gently from a distance. Today, many of the kids who once fit into tiny onesies are tall enough to look their parents in the eye. Their futures stretch ahead like open roads. Some may pursue big dreams. Others may take quieter paths. What matters most is that they're growing into their own stories, stories that belong to them. The journey from babyhood to adolescence happened gradually, almost unnoticed day by day. But looking back, the transformation feels huge. The little ones who once learned to walk now move confidently through the world. If there's one thing this long journey teaches, it's this: childhood doesn't slow down for anyone. The toys disappear from living room floors. The baby photos become memories. The voices deepen. And suddenly the kids who once needed constant care are independent, thoughtful young people with dreams of their own. Yet even as they grow, the heart of the story stays the same: love, learning, and the effort to do better each day. The real beauty isn't in dramatic moments or big headlines. It's in watching someone grow, slowly, imperfectly, and beautifully, into who they're meant to be.